other industries. As we know, that postponement is an idea, a process flow where you customize the product at the last stage. So if you have a big supply chain, especially if you have supply chain, across oceans, and you are manufacturing stuff in China, and then you have to provide, 20 parts of A and 30 parts of B and 40 parts of C. So each type of product have different specification. Like for example, you want to buy, Apple 16, some Apple 16 are Pro and some Pro Max and some, others. So how do you really have all this inventory without keeping too much wrong inventory? So what people do is basically they make a basic phone, in China or wherever they are manufacturing across oceans, and then they bring it close to the distribution center, and then they customize and deliver your orders at the last echelon. And that's called postponement, because in this way, you can use your entire inventory for all the orders instead of keeping, type A phones, type B phone, type C phones, type D phones in inventories. And what if customer is looking for, C, and then next week they're looking for D? And yes, in this way you will have to keep inventory of each type of phone, in your warehouse. But if you can make standardization in different versions of your phones, and then only change the specification of your customer at the last echelon. For example, if somebody want Pro Max, and then okay, you have a 16 phone, and then you just change it to Pro Max. And then if somebody wants more memory or what have you, if you could really standardize your phones, and now you are keeping one type of inventory, and then you're keeping some parts and using those parts. In this way, your inventory will not be going crazy from A type to B type to C type from week to week to week. So that was really an idea came in 90s when people started manufacturing, especially desktops in China, and then they had a problem with customization, and then they had too much inventory in their hand, and they came up with this idea. Now, I am a keen student of supply chain, and I worked, 20 plus years in corporate America, especially managing global supply chain operations and third-party manufacturing facilities. And I, learned that how do you really use that concept, not just in supply chain, but even other matters of your life or other industries. Now I'm in real estate, so if you want to see my transformation and my journey from supply chain to real estate, then you should watch my other interview, which was podcast a week ago. But today we are going to just talk about that how do you really take the concept of postponement from supply chain and apply into, for example, real estate. So in real estate, specifically, I am going to talk about senior and assisted living. Now, senior livings or assisted livings are specialized livings where you have certain needs of people, and you are, even though they are apartment buildings, but they have specialized programs, and they have certain customization to the the units. And that really also depends on what type of customization you need by each client type. So using the same concept, my study says that you build the same apartment building like you build in multifamily. And then what you do is that you leave some customization, if it needed, on the client itself. Okay, so customization doesn't have to be the actual physical room, but to the program. For example, if you have a senior living, and then you have 80% of your seniors who don't need a program, but then 20% might need a special program. And out of that 20%, maybe 10% need medicine management. Maybe another 10% need bathing help, and then some other 10% might need some transportation help, and then maybe another 10% might need some walking or other type of assistance. So those assistants are needed in the program. Now, there are lots of assisted living in the United States, and they offer all these programs to all the clients, and hence, they make their assisted living, a senior living, very customized, and they then can only cater to all those people who have those needs. But what if you make, that senior living, cater to everybody? Now you have a bigger pool, and you don't have to offer that program, which is not needed by everyone, and hence your cost for your program or your assisted living will be less. Now, if you offering all the program, your assisted living would cost maybe $10,000 a month. But if you are not offering all those programs to everyone, your client pool is bigger. You can fill your assisted living much faster. And secondly, you're offering lower rate. Hence, again, you are attracting more people. And then you are providing third party services who are actually catering to those needs. For example, medicine management, it could be a third party service. Now, only 10% of the clients living in a senior living need medicine management. Maybe they have a memory issue, they tend to forget. So they need their medicines at certain times, and their loved ones want to make sure that they get that at a certain time, and they want to provide the service. That's fine. There are lots of third party services out there. They will provide that service, and they were provided actually cost effectively. Now, instead of paying $10,000 a month, you are paying only maybe $4,000 a month for the basic unit, and then you may provide 500 to $1,000 for the service you need for your loved one. So you end up paying $4,500, and not only you are paying $4,500, you're also opening up that senior living, assisted living, which is much needed, to much bigger pool who can afford $10,000 a month. So this idea of postponement is very, very attractive and very strong if it is applied in other industries and offering customization on as needed basis. Now, you might think, hey, this is the common sense. Why are people not doing it? You believe it or not, I have not seen this being utilized in senior or assisted livings. So I would say that we need to think about all these practices you have in different industries, and then look at other industries and see that if they could be applied. And that is only possible when you have cross functional teams working together, because they come with different experience from different background, and then they basically give those ideas could be very simple, but they could be very foreign to people who have not really gone into that industry. So a lot of people ask me, hey, Rashid, you came from supply chain operations and now you're in real estate. What a big switch. You went through all this schooling, you went to, engineering schools, business schools, top notch schools. What was the purpose if you're going to become a real estate developer? And I tell them that knowledge, experience, information never go waste. Matter of fact, that is the difference between offering uh, a cutting edge service and technology in any industry when you have experience from different industries, because now you get best practices from all different industries. Like for example, Toyota Production System, TPS. Now the TPS has been utilized by Toyota, and lots of other industries can benefit from it. And we will talk in future discussions that how TPS could be used in different countries. Don't forget the geography of Japan, and especially with Tokyo, where Toyota's production goes on in a much smaller geography, is different than United States geography. If you have one company making bumpers is in Iowa, and the other one is in Ohio, and the other one which is making other parts in Michigan, and all different states far away. It's not like Japan. So we cannot use a cookie cutter approach. We have to take the example from the industry and then look at other industry and see how that can be utilized. So I just wanted to share that thought, that how we can benefit from the best practices of one industry, one region, to the other industry in other region, by looking at different dynamics and geographies and needs. The best practices are the best practices, but we got to customize them to our needs. So until next time, God bless you, and keep thinking out of the box. Bye now.